Maxwell House Coffee presents Good News of 1938. That music means you're invited to spend another hour behind the scenes in Hollywood as the guests of Maxwell House Coffee brought to you from Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios, home of the world's greatest stars. And here's your host, Robert Taylor.
Thanks, Ted, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm kind of glad it's Thursday night again, because this week, besides our regular gang, Frank Morgan, Fanny Bryce, Connie Boswell, Hanley Stafford, Meredith Wilson's orchestra, and Max Kerr's choristers, we have as our special guests Miss Virginia Bruce, paying a second visit to our Good News show, and Robert Montgomery, not only a fine actor, but one swell guy. But more about Bob Montgomery later. And now, Meredith.
Yes, Bob.
Are your cohorts prepared for the evening's soiree?
I believe so, sir.
You've called the roll?
No, sir, but I'll do it immediately, sir. Violins, saxophone, brass, bass, drum. The drummer isn't here.
Well, that's fine. Now, let's give out with that double dandy arrangement of I've Taken a Fancy to You. To your trusty men I say, ole, ole, oxen free. Here comes the downbeat, ready or not.
I've taken a fancy to you. I took but a glance and I knew there's something about you that pleases the eye, makes me sigh. I wonder why. I've known you forever, it seems. You've grown up in all of my dreams, but now I'm awake and my dreams have come true. I'm full of romance and I've taken a fancy to my own you. I've known you forever, it seems. You've grown up in all of my dreams, but now I'm awake and my dreams have come true. I'm full of romance and I've taken a fancy to my own you.
I know a lot of people don't believe this, but there's a considerable amount of hard work in making pictures. Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning after working long after dark, sometimes in heavy costumes, always under glaring arc lights, it takes energy. And so most of us here at MGM have found that it pays to keep in just as good shape physically as we possibly can. And the fellow who helped us do it is the man I want you to meet now. 5 feet 10 inches of brain plus brawn, MGM's physical trainer, Donald Bloomer.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Bob.
Now, Don, I don't want to cross-examine you, but how about giving out with a little information on calories and corpuscles and one thing and another, huh?
Well, Bob, I hardly know where to start.
Well, start with yourself, Don. You weren't born 5 feet 10 inches and 175 pounds, were you?
I'll tell you, Bob, up until I was 8 years old, I was a pushover for any kid on the block. As a matter of fact, at school I was so skinny that when I stood sideways, they marked me absent.
And when did you start blooming as a modern Hercules?
My nose started blooming first. A bully, 30 pounds my senior, punched it.
So that's when you decided to develop your own bodyguard, huh?
Yes, I figured a few more muscles wouldn't hurt, so I went to work.
Well, you certainly did yourself a good job. And, Don, you really do believe, don't you, that by conscientiously following your instructions, any normal person can gain or reduce poundage and increase vitality?
The best way I can answer that is to tell you about a few of my cases. One female star was signed with the understanding that she must lose 30 pounds in 4 months. She's very well known, and of course I can't mention her name.
Found an actress that doesn't want publicity.
Well, 30 pounds of her don't. But a steady course of gymnastics, 7 days a week, a balanced diet, and this girl is now a perfect flirty six.
Don, see if you can reduce those puns, will you?
Okay, Bob.
Don, I imagine you run into a lot of people who find the going a little tough. You're exercising a little wearing.
Well, you find slackers everywhere. There's one fellow they told me to get in shape, and for the last 6 weeks, I've practically had to drag him to the gym, stand over him like a Simon Legree, and make him do a few little exercises.
Well, that's not a very unusual case, is it?
Yes, it is, Bob. In 7 weeks, that guy only lost 1 pound. Then he went on a party to celebrate and gained 5. He's still 45 pounds overweight. So I wrote that short-winded, loose-livered, good-for-nothing a letter and told him to keep away from my gym.
I got your letter, Mr. Loomis. I don't quite understand your attitude.
Well, hello, Frank. How are you?
Yeah, well, it's me in the flesh. 45 pounds too much. I mean muscle, every flabby inch of it. Of course, Mr. Loomis, I don't want to mention any names, but if somebody had a gymnasium and one of the pupils in his class was huskier than he was, I wouldn't blame somebody for not wanting me in your class.
Mr. Morgan, are you referring to me?
Well, if my shorts fit you, wear them. As a matter of fact, I'm the best physical specimen in the class. There's 40 of us in there, and I stand out like a sore thumb. Who wrote that in here? This is sabotage.
Well, then it's really a shame that Don had to expel you, Frank.
Well, he did it for the good of the class. I mean, you shouldn't have done it. Bob, the truth is that only last Wednesday I came in and exercised for 6 full minutes. And just because I asked for a simple little massage, Don got mad.
Don, I thought it was your practice to give everybody a rub down.
Yes, but not with 3-star Hennessy.
Frank, you wanted a rub down with brandy?
Well, Anna Hell took milk baths. Well, I will say that Don gave me my own way, except that the brandy was cut. You can't fool my skin. I can taste the difference.
Frank, after seeing you again, I really think I ought to take you back.
Yeah.
It's not a very good ad for my gym to have a fat man like you running around.
Well, snap my girdle. Who's fat? Don, I make an ideal appearance the way I am. Besides, what guarantee have I got that you can make me look normal?
Well, look at Bob Taylor over there, one of my pupils. He looks pretty good, doesn't he?
Taylor, what has he got that I wish I had? Listen, Don, I don't mind your expelling me at all because I've got a beautiful gym in my new home. You should see my new electric horse. It works on alternating current. I call it AC Biscuit. If you don't like that joke, the feeling is pari-mutual.
Those electric horses are great exercises, Frank.
You're right, Don. I was strapped on mine 5 hours this morning. I handled it beautifully until someone turned on the switch. It was bad enough when it galloped out of the gym and ran into Hollywood, but imagine my embarrassment when it stopped in front of the electric company and they made me pay my bill. Would you believe it?
No.
Well, I don't either, but it's the truth. Besides, you're just mad because you know I don't need to take your course. Anybody who knows me realizes I'm bursting with energy and extraordinary strength. The only thing that bothers me is that I feel so weak. What did you say?
Frank, place yourself in my hands.
No.
Follow my instructions explicitly. And in 2 months, you'll be strong enough to tear your telephone book in half.
Tear my telephone book in half? With the numbers I've got, I'm crazy. Now, Don, you take this number, Gladstone, 6925. She's a lovely girl. Repulsive, but quaint. I must call her.
That's a good idea, Frank. Here's the phone.
Where? Let me have it. Oh, no, I don't use those dial phones. Not me.
No, why not?
Well, lately I've been so weak, you know. I was using my phone the other night, and I swung the dial around. My finger got caught, and when the dial swung back, it picked me up and threw me against the wall. Almost broke my neck. Well, I'll see you later, boys.
Good night, Bob.
Good night, Don.
Good evening, Colonel Taylor.
Well, look who's here, said he with a note of surprise in his voice as if he wasn't expecting her. Our own Connie Boswell. Connie, you certainly look radiant tonight. You've got that certain sparkle in your eye.
Well, you never can tell, Colonel Taylor. It might be love.
Oh? Well, tell us about the Prince Charming.
Well, Colonel Taylor, he's sweet as a song.
Oh, nice music cueing, Connie. Nice music.
Sweet as a song. You're as sweet as a song. For you possess the warm tenderness of all anxiety. Sweet as a tune, serenade to the moon. You'll always be like the quaint harmony of sweet Adeline. Sweet as a song, you're as sweet as a song. You're a chorus of trees, a lovely reprieve of kiss me again. Darling, when you're in my arms, nothing could ever go wrong. As long as you remain a haunting refrain, you're sweet as a song. Sweet as a song, you're as sweet as a song, for you possess the warm tenderness of all anxiety. Sweet as a tune, serenade to the moon. You'll always be like the quaint harmony of sweet Adeline. Sweet as a song, you're as sweet as a song. You're a chorus of trees, a lovely reprieve of kiss me again. Darling, when you're in my arms, nothing could ever go wrong. As long as you remain a haunting refrain, the song in my soul will never grow old. Darling, you are as sweet as a song.
Very good. Very good. And here's Baby Snooks again. We find her father, Hanley Stafford, toiling over some papers in his study when his little problem child enters, her school books under her arm.
Daddy,
Oh, Snooks, how many times have I told you not to bother me when I'm working?
what you doing?
I'm trying to figure out my income tax. Now, go away.
What's income tax?
It's the money I have to pay the government.
Who's the government?
The men who run the country.
Oh. Daddy,
What is it?
does the government pay you?
No.
And why do you pay them?
Because I have to. Now, leave the room and let me work on this. I have to send it away tomorrow.
Send it where?
To Washington.
George Washington?
No, Washington, D.C. Snooks, will you please go to your own room?
Can I do my homework here, Daddy?
Well, all right, but don't make a sound. And don't ask me any questions.
Why?
Because I've got to add up this long column of figures.
All right.
Now, sit right there in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me see. 8 and 7 is 15, and 6 is 21. 29, 32, 41, 48, 56, 64.
Daddy,
64. What?
how much is 6 and 2?
I told you not to interrupt me. Now, 6 and 2 is 8.
6 and 2 is 8?
Yes.
No, it ain't, Daddy.
Well, what do you mean it ain't? 6 and 2 is 8.
Teacher told me 4 and 4 is 8.
4 and 4 is 8, and 6 and 2 is 8, and 5 and 3 is 8, and so is 7 and 1 8.
Is everything 8?
No, and I told you to keep quiet.
All right, Daddy.
Now, where was I?
You was right here all the time, Daddy.
Oh, stop that. Now I've got to add up this whole column of figures all over again.
Why?
Because I want to know what to take off.
Are you hot?
No, I'm not hot.
Then what you gonna take off?
I'm talking about my income tax. There are certain deductions a married man may make. I'm allowed $400 for each child.
They give you 400?
No, I can take it off.
Take it off the child?
No, take the money off.
What money?
The money from my earnings. The government allows me $400 for you. For you.
When do I get it?
Guess what?
The $400.
Now, listen, Snooks. I've simply got to fill out this tax blank tonight. Now, if you make another sound, I'll give you a spanking.
All right, Daddy.
Now, remember, I don't want to hear another peep out of you. Not another peep. Do you hear?
Uh-huh.
All right. 8 and 7 is 15, and 6 is 21. 29, 32, 41, 48, 56,
Peep.
58. Now, what did you do that for?
I couldn't help it, Daddy.
Will you please let me add up these figures, Snooks?
I will.
8 and 7 is 15, and 6 is 21, 29, 32, 41, 48, 48, 56, 64, and 8 is...
Daddy!
Oh, my heavens, now what is it?
I want my $400.
It isn't your $400.
Well, whose is it?
Oh, the government allows me to deduct that money for bringing up a little girl.
Does she get it?
Does who get it?
The little girl.
You're the little girl.
Ah.
And nobody gets anything. It's just that you save me $400 a year. You understand?
Uh-huh.
Now will you keep quiet and let me finish?
No.
Well, why not?
Because I want my $400.
Snooks, there really isn't any $400.
Well, what's the good of saving it?
It brings my tax down.
Down where?
Nowhere. Just makes less to pay.
Pay who?
The government.
Oh. Why?
Because those are laws on which this country is founded.
Was it founded?
Yes.
When was it lost?
Oh, that's enough. Now I'm going to add up these figures once more, and if you so much as breathe, I'll give you the spanking of your life. If you so much as breathe.
Uh-huh.
All right. 8 and 7 is 15, and 6 is 21. 29, 32, 41, 48, 56, 56, 64, 68. Look! What did I tell you?
I couldn't hold my breath any longer, Daddy.
Oh, what's the use? You won't let me get this done, eh? All right, maybe they'll come and put me in jail.
Why?
For not paying my taxes. Everybody has to pay taxes. That's how they run the country.
Do you have to run it, Daddy?
No, but I contribute. My tax helps.
How?
Well, for instance, last week I sold a shirt in the store.
A shirt?
Yes. And part of the money I got for that shirt has to go for taxes.
Money from the shirt?
Why, certainly. How do you think the government manages to buy battleships? With my tax. And if it wasn't for my tax, there wouldn't be any parks or schools or public libraries. The United States would be completely ruined if they didn't collect that tax.
Oh. Daddy,
What?
it's a good thing you sold that shirt.
A lot of people say, what is a home without a child? And after hearing Baby Snook's questions, they'll probably say a nice, quiet place. And speaking of nice, quiet places, when I was over in England last summer making a yank at Oxford, I ran across a little verse written, a couple hundred years ago about coffee that will interest you, Ted. And as I was drinking my Maxwell House coffee this morning at breakfast, it suddenly came back to me. Let's see, it goes something like this. A flavor like nectar, a fragrance like myrrh, yet it costs but a few pence your palate to stir.
Say, just repeat that again, will you, Bob?
Sure. A flavor like nectar, a fragrance like myrrh, yet it costs but a few pence your palate to stir.
Robert, I don't want to take advantage of the poets of yesteryear, but it certainly sounds as if that had been written over a cup of Maxwell House. Because really, folks, I don't believe there's any coffee you're going to like day in and day out as much as Maxwell House. It's such a fine coffee to begin with, Choice coffees roasted and blended with all the skill of more than half a century. And that, of course, accounts for its rich, rare, mellow flavor, its tempting fragrance, and that really full-bodied goodness. And then we bring it to you roaster fresh in the super vacuum can, so that all its fine, original flavor and goodness reach you intact, none of it wasted. And you know, that in turn suggests another point about Maxwell House coffee, something also in that verse of yours, Bob, and that's economy. Maxwell House is truly an economical coffee because you get full flavor, full value every time. Yes, more full-flavored cups per pound of Maxwell House.
Well, Ted, as one who enjoys Maxwell House coffee himself, I wouldn't say you've taken advantage of my friend the poet and his verse one bit. Only wish I'd thought of him before this.
Well, thank you, Bob. Friends, just one thing more. You can get Maxwell House both in the regular grind for percolator or boiled coffee and in the special drip grind for drip pot or glass coffee maker. Now, either way, you're certain to get a mellow, fragrant cup of coffee. Coffee, as Bob Taylor said, your palate to stir. Or, as we say, coffee that's good to the last drop.
Did you ever go to a musical show and walk out humming its hit song? It's on your mind when you go to bed that night, and it's the first thing you start whistling in the next morning, but you just can't remember the name of it. Well, if that happens to you with the number Meredith Wilson's orchestra is going to play now, just remember the name is the Donkey Serenade from MGM's swell picture, The Firefly. Take it, Mr. Wilson, and let the obligatos fall where they may. Hollywood radio programs with picture people invading the ranks of broadcasters, it's good to remember that radio has developed some of the screen's finest players, like Bing Crosby, for instance, who will be dropping into your loudspeaker in about half an hour. Tonight, I want you Maxwell House radio listeners to meet a young lady who is one of the promising young players on the Metro lot, and she came to us from radio. You've heard her on the March of Time and other big shows from New York. And although she's only been in pictures about 6 months, she has already appeared in London by Night, My Dear Miss Aldrich, and Man-Proof. Now, I'm going to play opposite her this evening in a drama especially adapted for this program by Shepard Traub from a story of O. Henry's called Transience in Arcadia. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rita Johnson.
The scene, the Blue Room of a fashionable resort hotel on Long Island Sound. Time, a hot summer evening. An earnest young man, played by Robert Taylor, is talking with a waiter who hovers solicitously over his table.
I'm expecting Miss Beaumont to join me shortly, George. In the meantime, you might order 2 dry martinis.
Very good, monsieur.
And, George, I've appreciated how attentive you've been all week. But tonight, I should like this to be a particularly perfect dinner. You see, Miss Beaumont will be leaving the hotel on the early train tomorrow morning, and, well, tonight is...
I understand, Mr. Farrington. You can rely on me, monsieur.
I'm sure of it, George. You better get those martinis. That's Miss Beaumont coming in now.
Yes, Monsieur Farrington.
Hello, Lucy.
Oh, Harold, I'm terribly sorry I kept you waiting, but that swim this afternoon left my hair a mess.
Didn't look that way to me.
Oh, you're not going to be angry, are you?
I was going to be, but I think I'll change my mind.
Oh, bless you.
You're ravishing this evening. That gown...
Oh, it's so sweet of you to notice every little thing, but it's almost embarrassing.
Forgive me, I'll pretend not to notice, although I really can't help it. See, you'll be going away tomorrow morning, and I'd like to remember everything about you tonight.
It's been a lovely week, hasn't it?
Yes, perfect. I never suspected when I decided to run down here that I was going to find anything like you.
What did you expect?
Oh, the usual sort of thing. Tennis in the morning, ladies running all over the place in one-piece bathing suits or bad-fitting short pants and high French heels. Diet lunches, more ladies running around in the afternoon in more one-piece bathing suits. And then evenings full of bad dancing, bad liquor, and very little moon.
Well, if you expected that, you had the courage of a hero to step into this place.
Well, I was bored, so I didn't expect much. But instead, I met you. This week's turned out to be the most delightful, the shortest 7 days of my life.
It's sweet to say that. For my part, I've loved every minute of it. Even the dog show was fun, wasn't it?
Martinis, monsieur.
Thank you, George. Do you want to order dinner now, Lucy?
No, a little later.
Oh, that'll be all for the present, George.
Very
Thank
good,
you.
monsieur.
You know, I think George approves of us.
I'm sure of it. I've been giving him enormous tips. See if that's dry enough, will you?
Mm-hmm. Exactly right.
Lucy, do you have to sail tomorrow?
Yes, I'm afraid there's no avoiding it. My aunt's waiting for me in Paris. Taking a house at Deauville, and she'd be quite lost without me.
You couldn't postpone the trip?
No, I couldn't. Oh, no, I couldn't, Harold. She's expecting me on the Normandy. I came on a later boat. It would upset all the plans.
No, it doesn't seem fair, Lucy.
Why not?
Well, no sooner do I find you than you proceed to vanish out of my life. This sort of thing doesn't happen twice to a fella. Meeting someone like you, I mean.
Well, you're leaving yourself tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, on the afternoon train. I've got to go up to New York to see my lawyers on a little business. Seems my investments haven't been producing quite enough, and they want to talk about it.
You don't do anything, do you, Harold?
I don't understand.
I mean, you don't work at any kind of a job, do you? You just have a good time.
Well, I try my best.
Well, I'm sure this is going to sound like a dreadful old bromide, but I've always thought it was good for a man to have an interest in something.
But I do.
Do you?
Yes, this very minute. It's you.
You're being obvious, Mr. Farrington. Shame on you.
Happens to be the truth. How about that music we're wasting? Shall we dance?
Yes, I'd love to.
You don't mind if I hum, do you? I always hum when I dance.
Not at all.
What do you do when you dance?
Well, for a long time I used to do tapping while dancing, but then I gave that up and decided just to dance.
Yes, well, I don't mind saying you've done right well by yourself. As the boys in the back room would say, you're a rug cutter, a jitterbug. Lucy, you know what?
No, I don't know what.
I'm never going to dance with anyone but you. I mean that, Lucy. All my life I've been waiting to tell you. I know now that it is you.
Don't, Harold.
True, if only you would...
Please.
All right,
Martinis,
Lucy.
monsieur.
Oh, well, say, that was quick.
I thought you might wanted them, monsieur. I'd already placed the order.
George, you're a perfect waiter.
Thank you, monsieur.
What's the matter, Lucy?
Nothing.
Well, you're being pretty glum. How about joining me in a toast
What's it to be?
to your aunt in Paris, and till we meet again?
To my aunt in Paris. Until we meet again.
Bottoms up. Lucy, what's the matter?
I'm sorry. I can't drink to that.
You're pale, dear. What is it?
Harold, I can't go on deceiving you any longer. I'm a fake. You might as well know it. You think I'm a lady, rich and accustomed to luxury. Well, it's not true. I have a job selling ties in the men's haberdashery section in Bloom-Garten's department store. Tomorrow morning I'm going back to it because my vacation's over. I say for a whole year just to come to a place like this and pretend to be a lady for a week. Now I've done it. It's been wonderful. I'll never forget it. That's all.
Well, I'm glad you finally spilled it.
I suppose you're furious at me. You hate me for trying to fool you.
No, not at all. I've known it all along.
But you knew.
Yes, it's very simple. You see, I bought some ties in Bloom Gardens last week, and I saw you behind the counter. I never forget a face. I recognized you the minute I met you
So
here.
why didn't you...
Because I'm in love with you. And now I know that you care for me enough to tell me the truth about yourself.
Oh, Hal, darling.
Would you love me if you knew that I'd been posing at being a gentleman, if my life this week had been as big a fake as your own?
I'd love you if you were selling brushes house to house.
No, I don't do that. My line is vacuum cleaners.
Oh. What?
Yes, you'll see. The good weeks I make $30. All I've got is ambition and my love for you. My real name is Jim McDermott. What's yours?
It's Jenny Burns.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Jim.
George, 2 more martinis.
Jim, dear.
Yes.
Let's make it 2 beers.
Rita, you were terrific.
Well, that's a big word, Bob, but thank you.
Thank you. And now it's time for us all to sit back for a few moments and relax. So let's all go into the old Maxwell house.
For a steaming, fragrant cup of Maxwell House coffee. Meredith, let's have the music to go with the coffee. Folks, we're on our way. We now pause briefly for station identification.
KFI, Los Angeles.
This is Bob Taylor again, and our good news show rolls right along with Connie Boswell and Meredith Wilson putting their heads together, musically speaking, of course, to bring you their version of Broadway's Gone Hawaii. Nobody holds me back. I may sing a few licks myself here.
Broadway's gone Hawaii. Cool feeling stealing through the air. Broadway's gone Hawaii. They've all gone nuts about hula huts on Old Times Square. Four song singers have given up Frankie and Johnny for King Kamehameha, Puma Nuka Nuka, and Sweet Leilani. Broadway's gone Hawaii. Every hot spot feature, those grass skirt preachers. Broadway rhythm, you've changed, for everybody's gone Hawaii. Now, Mr. Bob, I've read an awful lot about Broadway.
What did you find out, Connie?
That Fritzy Chef and Grace LaRue and Big Bell were the thing.
That's right, Connie. And Victor Herbert's melodies, they were kings.
And in the good old days, they tell me Nora Bay made old Broadway famous when she sang. Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky. But, Mr. Taylor, look at Broadway now.
What's the matter with it?
They want to go back to a little grass shack in Kealakekua, Hawaii.
And you know why? It's all because of a melody that everybody knows.
But you must admit it's lovely, Robert. This is how it goes.
Sweet Leilani, heavenly sound, I dreamed of paradise for two.
Sweet Leilani,
You are my paradise, come near.
lovely Leilani, Take a make a honker, you my new Broadway gone Hawaii may be true. But Mr. Bob, I don't care about the huts on old Times Square.
We'll even lend our own applause. In fact, we think it's great.
Because we've gone Hawaii too.
Meredith, you and Connie can get together every week on that number as far as I'm concerned. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in the past 18 weeks, you've met many of the Metro stars here, but there's one distinguished ornament to the screen who was away when our program started, and who returned to Hollywood only to plunge immediately into a tough shooting schedule. But now he's completed the picture. It's called The First 100 Years. And I know we're all glad to welcome him to our Maxwell House broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Robert Montgomery.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And may I say, Bob, that while this is my first visit to your program in the flesh, I've often been present in spirit.
You mean as part of the audience?
Yes, but sometimes it's more than that. On several occasions, I've envied you and some of the other boys the fun you seem to be having. And also, once or twice, I've envied your juicy parts in the dramas you've done here. Just a sort of a wistful ham, I guess.
Say, boys, speaking of wistful hams, when do I come over?
Well, Virginia.
That good old Virginia ham.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome that charming girl and brilliant actress, leading lady to Mr. Montgomery in the first 100 years, Miss Virginia Bruce.
Virginia, glad to see you.
Oh, you wistful ham. And by the way, I can't keep calling you wistful ham. And if I call you Bob, the far side folk won't know whether I mean you or him. So from here on, I'll call you Montgomery.
Thank you.
You can call me Mr. Taylor.
Okay, Taylor.
Okay, Bruce.
Well, Taylor, now that that's settled, I noticed you billed Bruce and me correctly tonight. The name of our picture being The First 100 Years. But last week in your announcement of tonight's show, you called our picture by its old title, Wooden Wedding.
Yes, how about that, Taylor? So slipped up a little, huh?
Well, yes, it did, and I'm sorry. They were going to fire me for it, but a pal of mine in the publicity department took the blame and saved my life. If you're listening, pal, thanks.
Okay, kid.
I guess he's listening.
Say, Taylor, how did you like our picture?
Well, officially, that is, speaking for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, I thought it was terrific. Speaking personally, I thought it was sensational.
Oh, boy, you had me worried for a minute. Could you give us just a short review of the picture in your own words, Bob?
Not more than 50 words.
50 words. Do I have to send labels with it?
No.
Okay, well, now let me see. The First 100 Years is a very interesting picture about a lady and a man who are married, but he gets a job in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and she has a job in New York and doesn't want to go to New Bedford. The picture is filled with glamorous scenes of cocktail bars and penthouses and transcontinental airplanes and is very exciting. The end.
Bravo, yes. You know, I really liked the story myself, although, of course, I never could see much sense in Bruce's part. Any woman should be tickled to death to go wherever her husband wants her to go if he's working.
Oh, is that so?
Certainly it's so. Since the beginning of time, woman has been man's chattel. It's psychologically sound for her to want what he wants, go where he goes, imitate his tastes, and cater to his every whim.
Why, you wistful ham.
Oh, now, wait a minute, Virginia.
Oh, wait no minute, Taylor. The trouble with you, Montgomery, is that you're still living in the dark ages of masculine ignorance. The way your mind operates, I'm surprised you don't light fires by rubbing sticks together. You ought to be wearing a leopard skin instead of that expensive suit you've got on. You're prehistoric.
That's right.
You're Neolithic.
That's right.
You're a dope.
That's what?
Now, Virginia, please, you must...
You stay out of this, Taylor. I know how to handle women.
I can see that.
Of course, Bruce, the trouble with arguing with a woman is that they make everything so personal. If you say to a girl the world is round, she says, well, thank goodness I'm not fat.
Montgomery, don't you criticize my figure. You're no Man Mountain Dean yourself.
You said I should be wearing a leopard skin.
Don't.
I'm not quibbling. You said I was Neolithic, and I say the trouble with women today is that they're too civilized. What does a modern woman know of household arts? They think needles are something to put in beer.
Robert Montgomery, I'll have you know I make all my own clothes. I don my husband's socks, and I can cook canned baked beans with the best of them.
Now, really, Virginia, a little less steam,
I
please.
can handle it, Taylor. I can handle it. The beautiful blonde is not yet born who can down Montgomery in debate.
Did I hear somebody say beautiful blonde?
Yes. keep out of this, Frank Morgan.
Oh, I love them when they're angry.
Well, I wasn't warming her up for you, Frank.
Oh, you're just mean.
I just won't be talked about this way. Bob, please make him stop.
Sure, honey. I'll make him stop.
I mean, Taylor.
Yeah. Well, serves you right, Montgomery.
Now, Virginia, don't you mind what nasty old Morgan and nasty old Montgomery say. You're a sweet, lovely little girl, believe me.
Thank you, Taylor.
Frank, now that we're alone, were you out at Santa Anita last Saturday?
I certainly was.
What did you do with the handicap?
The handicap? Oh, my wife stayed home. Oh, Alma, if you're listening, I didn't really mean that.
I'm listening, Frank.
Oh, well, that's fine. And how are you, dear? Who said that?
Alma. And you'd better stay away from that Bruce woman.
All right, dear. Yes, dear. I guess that's telling her. Well, fellas, I've got to go to the market and get a rib roast and a box of scouring powder.
Frank, don't tell me you go out and do the marketing for your family.
I insist on it. Remember, Montgomery, we'll see you later. Virginia, if I can get away.
Bruce, I suppose that's the kind of a fellow you'd like for a husband.
No, thank you. I'm very happy with the husband I have.
Poor old Morgan. I'd hate to be him. The way he gets kicked around by that wife of his. Oh, not for Montgomery. In the Chateau Montgomery, I am the king.
Hello? Oh, yes, how are you? Yes, just a second. It's for you, Montgomery.
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Hello? Oh, hello, dear. Yes. Wait till I get a pencil, will you? Now, 2 dozen pork chops, can of beans, some steel wool, and a new garbage can? Oh, what's the matter with the can we have? Oh, it's full. Oh. All right, dear. Goodbye.
"17 years ago, a brilliant audience of first-nighters trooped into the Globe Theater on Broadway for the opening of another Ziegfeld Follies, an annual affair which had already become a significant event to New York and the theater. That night, the crowd cheered the glorified glamour girls, laughed with such comedians as W.C. Fields and Raymond Hitchcock. But the highlights of the show, the moment that electrified the audience, was a song. The scene was the Montmartre section of Paris. The singer, a shabbily dressed girl leaning against a lamppost. Ever since that night, the song and the singer have been linked in the popular imagination. And so we are happy to yield to popular demand this evening and present this great artist singing a song she made famous. Ladies and gentlemen, Fanny Brice sings My Man.
Cost me a lot, but there's one thing that I've got. It's my man. Cold and wet, tired you bet, but all that I soon forget with my man. He's not much for look and no hero out of book. He's my man. 2 or 3 girls has he that he likes as well as me, but I love him. Don't know why I should. He isn't good. He isn't true. He beats me too. What can I do? Oh, my God, I love him so. He'll never know. All my life is just despair, but I don't care when he takes me in his arms. The world is right, all right. And what's the difference if I say I'll go away when I know I'll come back on my knees someday? For whatever my man is, I am his forever. Oh my God, I love him so, he'll never know. All my life is just despair. I don't care when he takes me in his arms. The world is bright, all right. And what's the difference if I say I'll go away when I know I'll come back on my knees someday? For whatever my man is, I am his forever.
Fanny, that was grand. I've always wanted to hear you do that number, and now you've done it. Believe me, it was really something. Speaking of always wanting to do something, I guess most of us have, at some time or other, wanted to inhale the odor of printer's ink, to be in the newspaper business. The other night, a bunch of us were talking about it, and Frank Morgan said he'd always harbored a secret desire to be a city editor. Fanny Bryce had Ian to be a sob sister, and even Meredith Wilson, as well as myself, have kind of wished at times we could be Richard Harding Davises or Walter Winkles. But can you think what might have happened if we'd all realized those ambitions? Imagine us in the offices of the, we'll call it the Daily Astonisher. Listen, you can hear the roaring of the presses.
Hello?
Hello, is Frank Morgan there?
Frank Morgan? Wait a minute, I'll call him. Oh, Frank Morgan. Well, that's me, city editor of the Daily Astonisher.
What's the latest news?
I wish we knew it. We'd print it. We go to press in 15 minutes. We haven't even got a headline. What does that guy think this is, a newspaper? Oh, Wilson. Yes, Chief? Yes. Well, where's Keyhole Taylor, my ace reporter? Has he come back yet?
Well, he was here, and he left this ice cream cone. He said you asked for it.
Ice cream cone? How do you like that? I send him out for a scoop, and he brings me ice cream. Fine bunch of reporters we've got. No wonder the Daily Astonisher's almost broke.
Why don't you change the name of the paper, Chief? Call it the Daily Anemic.
The Daily Anemic? Why? The Daily Anemic? Why?
Because it's got such poor circulation.
Wilson, another one of those and you're fired. Daily Astonisher, City Editor speaking.
Hello, who's this?
I said this is Daily City Astonished Editor. What do you want?
This is Keyhole Taylor. I got a great scoop, Chief.
You have? Hold it a second. Stop the presses.
Stop the presses. Stop the presses.
Keyhole Taylor has a scoop. Okay, Taylor, let's have it.
Get this, Chief. Scientists declare that the world's greatest invention is the safety pin.
What? You must be crazy, Taylor. Why, even the typewriter's a greater invention than the safety pin.
Oh, yeah? Well, next time you break your suspenders, try holding up your pants with a typewriter. Goodbye.
There you go. Even Keyhole has failed me. Well, we still haven't got a headline. This business is driving me crazy.
Why don't you get out of it, Chief?
I can't. It's in my blood. Like an artist loves his paints, like a plumber loves his pipes, I love the newspaper business.
Gee, no wonder you've been a newspaper man for 20 years.
Yes. Well, have I? Well, believe me, I'm getting sick and tired of it.
Hello, Chiefy.
Oh, so it's you, sob sister Bryce. Have you got a headline for today's paper?
See, maybe you'll like this.
Yeah.
Woman shoots husband with bow and arrow.
Woman shoots husband with a bow and arrow.
Certainly, she didn't want to wake up the children. I'll take it, Chiefy. Hello, city desk. No, stop talking. It's your nickel.
Hey, my name is Harry Herman, and you had my name in the obituary column of your paper today, saying I was dead.
Oh, yes, I saw it. Where are you calling from?
Not from where you think, and I'm not dead.
You're not, eh? Well, what are you trying to do, make a sucker out of our paper?
I'm not dead, and you got to take back that statement.
What do you think, we Indian givers? The Daily Astonisher takes back no statement.
But I'm not dead.
All right, so tomorrow I'll put you in the boys' columns and give you a fresh start.
You know, the other day I started a new column to increase the circulation. I call it Embarrassing Moments, and I pay $1 for each one sent in.
Did you get any yet?
Oh, yes. Listen to this one. I got it this morning. Here. Dear editor, I came home early this morning, or yesterday, and found another guy kissing my wife. I was very much embarrassed. Please send $2, as my wife is embarrassed, too.
You know what?
Yeah?
You should send $3.
$3? Why?
Maybe the guy he caught was also embarrassed.
Hello. City editor talking.
Hello, Chief. This is Keyhole Taylor again. I got another great scoop.
He's got a scoop with a scoop. I swear, stop the presses! Rip out the front page! What an organization. Okay, Taylor, let's have the scoop.
I just found a guy murdered down here, Chief. He had 75 bullets in him, but only one bullet killed him. The others weren't serious.
I'll bet he's glad to know that. Are you sure he's dead?
If he ain't, he's fooling nobody but himself.
Was he anybody important?
Important. This guy can talk 8 different languages, sing, dance, and play the piano like Fats Waller.
Well, he's certainly a versatile corpse.
Help! 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 Help!
What's the matter, Bryce?
Nothing, Chiefy. I'm just reading the want ad.
Well, we still haven't got a headline. Press the shirt. Stop the press. What an organization.
Hold it, Chiefy.
Yeah.
There's Keyhole Taylor in the other office.
Well, go out and see what he's brought in.
Okay, Chiefy.
Hello, Fanny.
Hello, Keyhole. Oh, kitty.
Say, Keyhole, what did you get?
I got a telegram here for you in the outer office.
Have Bryce read it to me.
Dear Mr. Morgan, stop. Have great item. Stop. Big scoop. Stop. Will wire further details. Stop.
Hey, Taylor, leave Bryce alone and let her read the telegram.
Don't you mix in, busybody.
Here's doing for a movie column, Chief. Take this down. Flash. Well-known movie star undergoes operation. Gee, Chief, this poor guy's been operated on so many times he looks like a slot machine.
Why are they operating again?
Maybe they're trying to hit the jackpot.
That's no headline. Stop the presses.
Stop the presses.
What an organization.
Hey, wait a minute, Chief.
Yeah?
Something's coming over the ticker from the news service.
Yeah?
Look, both tickers are working.
Lucky ticker.
You take one ticker, Bryce, and you take the other one and read off the headline.
Okay, Chief. Get this. English fashion designer decrees dresses made entirely of glass for this summer.
10,000 window washers leave for London.
U.S. Department of Weights and Measures to inspect scales in all meat markets.
15 Hollywood butchers commit suicide.
Chorus girl marries man with 16 children.
Amateurs losing popularity.
Manufacturers report this year American women will wear more French hosiery.
See America first. Vive la France!
Now we've got plenty of headlines. Start the presses.
Start the presses.
What an organization.
And now, friends, let's listen to 2 young women at their morning marketing. They're in Jones' grocery store anywhere in America.
Coffee, did you say, Mrs. Frederick?
Oh, yes, coffee. The same kind I always get. You know, Grace,
I'm getting terribly discouraged with that new drip coffee pot of mine. It's just like yours, but we're just not getting a good cup of coffee. Why, today, Jim...
Well, I'm not surprised.
Why do you say that?
Well, don't blame the drip pot. Just see the coffee you're using. What you need is a coffee that comes in a special grind made only for drip pots and glass coffee makers. Oh, I had your trouble, too, until I got Drip Grind Maxwell House. We get perfect coffee every day now, always the same in strength and flavor. Using the right grind is important, isn't it, Mr. Jones?
Well, ma'am, perhaps I shouldn't be taking sides, but I can tell you that since Maxwell House has been packing a special drip grind, it's pleased more people than any coffee I ever carried. Using the right grind for your method of making coffee is just like using the right ingredients in a recipe. Anyway, that's how my wife puts it. She uses Maxwell.
And, of course, that's absolutely true. That's just why Maxwell House is offered in 2 grinds. The special drip grind for those who make their coffee in drip pot or glass coffee maker, and the regular grind for percolator or boiled coffee. Now, both are ground just exactly right for best results. And, of course, both are packed in the super vacuum can that keeps all the original full flavor intact. So you get your coffee not merely day's fresh, but roaster fresh. Tomorrow, get a can of Maxwell House coffee. Oh, and by the way, Maxwell House now comes packed in both 1- and 2-pound cans. So if your family's a large one, buy the 2-pound can for convenience and added economy.
Tonight in the concert hall, Meredith Wilson plays a single movement of his O.O. McIntyre suite in memoriam to his late great friend. It is called Thoughts While Strolling. Citizens of Chicago, Illinois, attention. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer salutes Bela Ben and Katz's Chicago Theater, where, starting tomorrow, March 11th, our own Judy Garland will make personal appearances for 1 week. Good luck, Judy, honey.
Say, Bob.
Yes, Ted.
I have a message for you from some of your fans.
Well, I'm always glad to hear from them.
Well, the readers of Silver Screen recently voted in a contest to elect the most popular player in motion pictures, and for a second year in a row, you won by a large margin.
Well, Ted, that's a mighty nice message. I'm much obliged.
Well, here's hoping you keep right on winning, Robert.
Thank you.
And now, on behalf of Miss Elizabeth Wilson, Western editor of Silver Screen, I now hand you this gold medal commemorating the award.
Ladies and gentlemen, next week we'll have one of the best and biggest good news shows so far. Your ticket of admission, as always, is just your loyalty to Maxwell House Coffee. So enjoy yourself with us again next Thursday evening, and in the meanwhile, go to the movies and take the family with you. This is Bob Taylor saying good night until next week.
This is Ted Pearson saying good night and good luck for the makers of Maxwell House, the coffee that's always good to the last drop. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
KFI, Los Angeles. Serve Lucky Lager beer with your fish dinner tomorrow. Lucky Lager is naturally better because Lucky Lager is slowly mellowed nature's way. Enjoy Lucky Lager.